Yes, I guess my life's work has been about nitrogen in a variety of forms. In fact, the full nitrogen cycle, all the way from nitrogen fixation by plants, root nodules and that sort of thing. And this sort of thing in particular, here we have a root nodule on an alder plant, one of the biggest root nodules in the world. That's a nitrogen fixing root nodule, and that's where a lot of my work started, in nitrogen fixation. It's expanded since then into nitrogen assimilation, nitrogen uptake, and now more recently into what we call nitrate pollution, the whole problem of lake nitrate pollution, and where does the nitrogen come from and how are we able to ameliorate this problem. And it's nitrogen which is limiting the productivity of our waters. In other words, the growth of algae, the growth of animals in the water is limited by the amount of nitrogen. And it's managing that whole system which has become part of what I'm working on at the moment. But more recently, I've got very interested in the way in which we've lost so much of our forest. I have a real interest in the physiology of native trees. I've worked a lot on many of the native trees, and realizing that we've chopped down most of them. We've lost most of our native forest. So I belong to a couple of groups who are advocating for the planting of native trees for a variety of reasons. I guess to me, the student thing perhaps is the centre. I mean, that's what my career has been all about, is teaching students and the possibility of training them to look at problems fundamentally. The second thing is, I guess, moving from the very esoteric, the oxygen diffusion problems inside a nodule, to move from that to the problems of planting trees in the environment. I mean, it's a very wide range of possibilities that I've been able to work in, and that's a wonderful opportunity to be able to stretch oneself between the biochemistry of a nodule to the environment of a kauri tree. And that's been very special. I guess getting started in many of these things, one looks back on one's history and tries to pinpoint a time when something happened. And I can remember that happening in my first year at university. I went there intrigued by all biology, and I got switched on to plants. Not many people get switched on to plants, but I did. Professor of botany there, he was crazy, but he was fascinating, he was intriguing, he was inspiring, and he inspired me into dealing with plants. And at the moment, since I've now stopped teaching at the university, I'm involved with about 8 different environmental projects. I'm working with Environment Bay of Plenty on the Rotorua Lakes. I've been working with Aunty Tūwharetoa on Taupo Lake problems. I'm working with several environmental groups on trees and planting of trees. I chair several trusts to do with the environment. I'm working with the Department of Conservation on Tongariro. I was on the board there for a while, and I'm working with them on aspects of ecology of Tongariro National Park as well. So I keep busy.